Hey, what's going on people? It's SGZ here from the SpartanGameZone, and in this video I'll be showcasing 10 underrated legendary weapons in Borderlands 3. These guns simply don't get the love they deserve and are some of the game's hidden gems that don't get used as much as they should. Some of them you may have never even thought about using, and do let me know in the comments what gun you think is severely underrated, and if there's enough we might see a part 2. I'll be telling you where you can get them, what they do, and what you need to do to boost their damage output. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like, or hey, maybe even subscribe, and let's crack into it. In no particular order, we open this list of 10 underrated legendaries with the Nighthawken, a dull SMG that has an increased chance to drop from the Demo Skaggins, the Devil's Skags, who you fight around here in the droughts. Because it's made by Dahl, you can get it in multiple firing modes, coming with 2 of either fully auto burst or semi-automatic. Burst is what you'll want to maximize its fire rate, as there is no delay between each 4-shot burst, but Zane can get away with fully auto, which I'm using here. It's a unique sub as it's influenced heavily by the game's day-night cycle. It's tamed during the day, but at night it becomes unleashed, revealing its true form. At night, rather than firing single cryo rounds, it fires dual incendiary traces that burn through your opponents. It becomes unstoppable, dealing mountains of damage, and can take on a pack of enemies with ease. Its fire rate and quick reload time allow it to continue ravaging health bars and give it heavy damage output. At night it certainly shines the brightest, but still deals good damage during the day, while its shadowed half sleeps, awaiting the reckoning of the night. Moving on now to the Sorba, a COV assault rifle that, like all COV weapons, must be started before it can be fired, and overheats rather than expending a magazine. It has an increased chance to drop from Borman nates. You fight here in the Meridian outskirts. The Sorba always comes in incendiary, fires at a steady pace with a large magazine size, and until you discover its unique effect, it'll just be another incendiary assault rifle. That unique effect is discovered after firing it at a good distance. Once its projectiles travel around 20 meters, they burst apart in 3 directions and hose the area around them with flames. They explode over a wide area, dealing splash damage and igniting anyone caught up in the blast. This effect, although powerful, isn't very practical as the bullets have to travel quite a distance, and it won't proc on impact, but when you do get it right, the Sorba will deal great damage. Because the splash radius is large, you can often kill enemies who are hiding in cover and take out an entire group of them at once. Its damage can be further amplified on Moes, who can increase the power and radius of each shot, but everyone will find a lot of fiery fury with the Sorba. Up next is the Gargoyle, which has probably seen more praise than other weapons in this countdown, but still certainly not enough. It's a corrosive only COV weapon exclusive to DLC 3 that has an increased chance to drop from Dick and Goyle. You fight here in Bloodsun Canyon. Like many COV pistols, it comes with a multitude of firing options, times 1, times 2 or times 3, consuming 2, 3 or 4 bullets respectively. Usually, to find out which one's best, I like to divide the damage by ammo consumed to find which is the best value for ammo, but if you're Moes, the more the merrier. This gun is colossal, firing a barrage of corrosive rounds at an incredible rate. Each shot doesn't just deal damage when they impact, but also a few moments later when they explode. To add to that, it will also occasionally spit out a wall of deadly acid, which takes huge chunks out of your target's health bar. It's definitely a gun made for Moes, but there's a lot of damage here for every Vault Hunter. It's equally adept against mobs and bosses, and I don't think I've ever seen Captain Tron get monstered quite like this before. The Bitch appears next, a Hyperion SMG that has featured in every main Borderlands game. It has an increased chance to drop from Tyrene the Destroyer. You fight in Destroyer's Rift. The bitch has a large magazine size, fires quickly, always comes fitted with a bayonet, and like most guns can come in any of the elements, including non-elemental. What sets it apart from all the rest, however, is its high critical bonus, maxing out at 82%, and that's the one I'd be aiming for. Having such a high crit bonus on a gun that fires as quick as it does creates a deadly weapon in accurate players' hands. It's the gun for you if you like snipers, but find they fire too slowly. The bitch is a supercharged laser that obliterates weak points, perfectly aided by the Hyperion manufacturer stamp, which further boosts its crit damage and makes it more accurate the longer you fire. It can do some serious work, and if you want to go all out, get a mod that boosts Hyperion crit damage and couple that with the holy crit modifier. Here I'm just using the latter, but still the bitch rocks a hefty DPS, and players rocking fadeaway flag can hit those criticals all the time. Up next we have the Hydrofrost, another COV weapon similar to the Gargoyle, which is exclusive to DLC 2 and can only be obtained by defeating Chivalrous the Unscathed, a rare spawn enemy that you can find around in this area of Nigel Nishai. The Hydrofrost is a pretty crazy gun. It always comes in cryo, but also deals shock or incendiary damage, and I can't think of another gun that combines elements quite like this one. After a kill, every second shot will either be burning with flames or charged with electricity and deal 200% damage. That's quite unreal, and with it you can send a stream of elemental fury downrange that just destroys anything it touches. It comes in times 3, times 4 or times 5 variants and consumes 2, 3 or 4 bullets respectively. I'm using the most ammo hungry one here, and I have to say it is extremely ammo hungry, so one of the lesser projectile variants will serve you for a longer time. There's no doubt though that it is extremely powerful, and if you want to spray elemental rounds at your enemies quicker than anything else, look no further than the Hydrofrost. Good luck Chuck, it's the Lucky 7, a DLC 1 exclusive pistol that has an increased chance to drop from Scrap Trap Prime. You fight around here in the compactor. The Lucky 7 is practically 25 guns in one, or more if you count the elemental roll. That might be a bit to take in, but basically every time you reload, 5 symbols will appear to the right of the gun, indicating the bonuses applied to it. Those bonuses include explosive rounds, always critical ricocheting amp shots, elemental type, fully auto, and 7 pellets. It's all luck of the draw each time you reload to get those bonuses, but when you get a good combination, the Lucky 7 will transform into a powerhouse pistol. A decent roll will have you dealing great damage and flatten enemies in a few shots. You can also force a reload too by prematurely reloading, ensuring a power-packed magazine is never too far away. To ensure you're getting the most out of each good roll, you want to have equipment that boosts your magazine size, and if you're a bottomless mags modes, you can even regen ammo to extend the life of each mag. It's just a lot of fun to use, and you never know what combination you're going to be blessed with next. Onto the Storm now, a shock-only melee 1 sniper rifle that even after its buff is hardly getting a mention. It has an increased chance to drop from Red Jabber, who you fight around about here in the Amber Mire. The Storm is an awesome gun with a spectacular unique effect that makes it all the more fun to use, and serves as a great bonus. It consumes the 2 ammo per shot with high impact damage at a nice radius. Each heavy hitting zap from its barrel is only the beginning for the Storm, as 8 electric filled orbs rise into the air before pumping surrounding enemies with electricity. If the first shot didn't kill them, the orbs it summoned will, as they continue to strip off shields and fry whatever is underneath. Its fire rate is a lot higher than it used to, along with its damage, and ensures there's no delay in the carnage you cause. Its unique effect is great for a number of things: extra damage, providing you with lifesteal, proccing the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge, keeping action shields active, and they can even hit criticals. It really is a super gun with what it can do, and it definitely makes itself extremely useful on the mobbing front, but will also take down those pesky bosses too. Shrek's cousin is here, the Ogre, a blood-off assault rifle, which is another weapon to appear in every main Borderlands game. It has an increased chance to drop from Anointed Alpha. You fight around here in the Anvil. The Ogre is explosive insanity in its every sense. It can't come in any element, sports a large magazine and fires at a good clip. Explosive rounds spew out of its barrel with no thought to them whatsoever, coming out at all angles and blasting their way through your target. The explosivity doesn't stop. After reaching max fire rate a second or two into each magazine, you'll be firing a seemingly endless barrage of explosives, peppering your enemies and taking chunk after chunk out of their health bar. It's simply unrelenting. It doesn't care how much bullets you fire, it just wants to kill things. They don't travel very fast though, and because of their spread, it's best used at close ranges. It's also a great option on Moze, who can literally make those magazines bottomless. On her, you'll want a consecutive hits anointment, and in that combination, a splash damage Moze build can cause some real havoc. Now to the Devastator, which is pretty much the Ogre in a smaller package, with the fire rate toned down and the damage dialed up. It has an increased chance to drop from Unstoppable, who you fight around in this area of the Ambermar. The Devastator fires explosive rounds in a 2-round burst, which have a large blast radius. Like the Ogre, it isn't very accurate while hip firing, but it can be tightened a lot by aiming. There's a lot of firepower encased within as the Devastator blows apart enemy after enemy. I find aiming at their feet to be the most effective method of dealing with your enemies, but when you hit criticals, its already high damage is amplified even further. It can come in a ×2 variant as well, which I'm using here, that fires 4 rockets per burst instead of the 2, and that'd be the one to aim for. Again, like the Ogre, it's best on Moze, who can enhance the devastation it can cause. But whoever you roll with, the Devastator does a great job of blowing stuff up. We end this list of 10 underrated legendary weapons with the Thunderball Fists, an elemental pistol that can only come in shock, and has an increased chance to drop from the Go-Go Power Troopers who you fight here in Atlas HQ. Now normally I would never have given this weapon a chance, although I did enjoy it in Borderlands 2, but I did remember that it was buffed early on in September, and having remembered that, I decided to try it out, and boy am I glad I did. It fires a single elemental laser at the cost of 2 ammo per shot, and they deal good damage in themselves, but they also trigger an electrically charged orb which floats slowly into the air and crashes down into the target point a few moments later. Anyone caught in the vicinity when the summoned orbs impact will certainly feel it, and they can even be used to regen your shields if you're using a transformer. However, they do take a while to land, allowing targets to escape their wrath. It's perhaps best on Ricochet and Amara, who both can make use of its elements, but also up the amount of shock clouds it produces, but anyone will be able to muster some shockingly good damage with the Thunderball Fists. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned of 10 underrated legendary weapons in Borderlands 3, and I do hope you give some of them a crack. If you did, consider dropping a like or subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.